Hey guys, welcome back to Paul's Porsche. In my first video, I talked about a few of the projects that I want to do. Hello, Mr. Bird. I talked about a few of the projects that I want to accomplish on my 1998 Boxster. One of the first things I want to do is replace the stock spoiler. As you guys know, the stock spoiler is automatic. It operates lifts, whether it's 70 miles an hour or above. But mine is in really bad shape. Like it's, the car is a nice ocean blue color. And for some reason, my spoiler is like really badly faded on top. Plus I thought this aftermarket spoiler would give it a bit of an updated look. So as you can see, I've got it in prime, it's ready to be painted. But right today, I'm gonna go through the procedure for removing the original spoiler first, take care of that step, and let's have at it. So the first step in removal of the original spoiler, obviously, is to first raise it. And there's a button on the inside where you can manually raise it to get it into this position. So as you'll see, there are 3 studs here, here, and here that need to be removed. I've already gone through the trouble of removing the first one just to make sure I can do it without too much trouble. So there are no real tools for this. So I just sort of did a little brainstorming, trying to figure out what I could do to get out the little center piece. And so what you'll notice is on each stud, there's a very small centerpiece that has to be punched through in order for you to be able to remove the plastic stud from the rear spoiler so we can take the top of the spoiler off. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna place a screw right in the center of the stud and give it some gentle banging. And again, as I indicated before, I'm not a mechanic, so most of this stuff I just improvise. So here you can see there's a very small centerpiece here in the center of the plastic stud. And I just put my screw here and a few gentle bangs. Because basically what you're trying to do is to knock this piece all the way in so you can remove the larger plastic stud around it. You can see you almost got it. I'm gonna work it loose a little bit. Voila. Now that we've removed all 3 of the plastic studs, basically you want to pull the top of the spoiler towards you to the rear of the car. And this top part should just pop right off. Here we go. And we got our top off. Now if you look on the inside here, there are bolts on each side. So bolt there. I believe that's a 5mm hex. So like I indicated in my original video, a lot of the things I was going to be doing will require the most basic of tools. So I've got my little hex wrench set here. As indicated earlier, it's a 5mm hex wrench that I'm going to stick down to remove the screws for the top of the spoiler. I cheated a little bit because I sprayed some silicone lubricant in here to make sure that the screws would be easier to remove. You want to try to remove it so that you hold on to that thing and it doesn't fall inside. So that's one. So you can see my aftermarket spoiler came with a set of screws here in 2 different lengths. This rather short one and the washer. So basically what you do is the washer will go inside here and screw into this piece of the rear spoiler here, and that's how it attaches to your rear spoiler unit. And I'm going to set it all up and then show you how we just screw it in and put it all in place. Okay, so we've gotten to a bit of a problem here because the 5mm Allen key that I have doesn't fit inside here for me to actually tighten these screws. And as it is, the spoiler is too loose for me to leave it this way. So we're gonna have to come up with a solution so we can get these screws the appropriate tightness. So far, the job has been pretty straightforward in terms of the removal of the original spoiler and how this is supposed to go on. But at this point, we're at a stalemate, so I'm gonna figure this out, and we'll start the video back up at the point where I figure out what I'm gonna do next. Okay, so my daughter, who's actually helping me film this video, came up with the brilliant idea of adding some additional washers underneath the screws to sort of tighten up the slack, so that we can get a good, close, tight fit on the spoiler. And it actually worked. I couldn't even get fingers through the holes in the rear of the spoiler where the mounting screw would be affixed. So my daughter actually even helped me with that. So now we're gonna use our trusty pliers to try to tighten it down as much as it needs to be. And I'll let you guys know how that worked out. All right, so we've overcome a few hurdles today getting this aftermarket spoiler mounted, but I think we're good to go. So basically, the spoiler came with two sets of screws. There was a long one and a short one, both hex, to fit inside the spoiler itself, which is mounted on the stalks where the original spoiler was mounted. So what we managed to do, as I said before, we added several spoilers to the shorter of the screws that were supplied with the spoiler. We got it all nice and tight, and so we're good to go. So at this point, I've got it mounted. It's looking pretty good. Obviously, you know, it needs to be painted, so I'm gonna be able to sand it. I'm taking it back off. Obviously, this is just sort of to get a tutorial even for myself on how to remove the spoiler and how the installation would work. So I'm gonna reverse everything, get the original put back on, and then when the original factory paint arrives, I'm gonna get the rear spoiler sprayed up, and it's gonna be good to go. But as you can see, we've got it all situated. It looks good. To me, it's a nice improvement over the rather clunky looking original spoiler. We've already tested it going up and down, no clearance issues. And I think it's a nice upgrade. I mean, I got mine used at a good price. It was originally painted white, but obviously it's gonna be the factory ocean blue when I'm done. And I think it looks good. If you look at it from the rear, you can see that the seller supplied it with these Punisher plugs to go into the mounting holes or whatever like that, which I don't really think helps the look, the aesthetic at all. But I'm gonna address it, get ready to paint it. But as you can see, it's all mounted up, ready to go, and I think it looks really good. So that's my first video for the day. Pardon me for keep saying My director daughter keeps telling me not to say that. I understand it. Nobody wants to hear anybody say all the time. But I think we did a pretty good job today. This took a total of about an hour and 15 minutes to get it all done, even with the issues that we ran into with the screws and everything. But all in all, this is a very satisfying project, and I think it's a worthwhile upgrade if you don't particularly care for, you know, the look of the original rear spoiler. So I'll see you guys next time on Paul's Porsche. Looking forward to the next one. I think the next video I'm gonna do will be a different set. I did it again. Will be a different set of wheels, and I think you guys are gonna like them. So see you soon on Paul's Porsche.
Cut.